All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Devanshi, and today we are excited to welcome Kamakshi Lahoti, our senior from San Jose State University's MS in Data Analytics program. She now works as an AI engineer at HP, turning data and machine learning ideas into real solutions at scale. We'll dive into her path from SJSU to industry, what the role of an AI engineer looks like day to day, and her advice for students breaking in. So, Kamakshi, thanks for joining us.
Hi everyone, thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for having me. This is truly a full circle moment for me. I did this
Hmm.
uh, for my master's, and hopefully, some of this will help you as you are starting, all of you are starting to build your career. So, I'm happy to be here.
Right. Yeah, thank you for joining, Kamakshi. Prajwal here.
Of
Uh,
course. Hi.
yeah, to begin with, we can begin with questionnaires. And like, we would want to know about your background and role. So, like, can you describe your role as an AI engineer at HP currently? And, like, some sort of what your typical day looks like, that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
So my role at HP is really centered around data. It's a completely heavily data analyst role, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I spend most of my time exploring, analyzing, and trying to find insights that can help the leaders of my company. And so basically, we majorly deal with two types of data. The first is the telemetry data that we call, which is the data that comes from devices. So HP, as you know, sells printers and laptops. So we have software that sends data back to us. And the second is sales and business data. So I'm
Okay.
mostly focused on the device data, and a typical day for me might, start by checking in if we have pushed out some new versions, and if there are any, if there's any update in the software that we've sent out to our customers, and I start looking at how it's behaving, if people are liking it, if they're using, and if there are any bugs that we need to fix, and if we find any bugs, we report it to the software team. And that's how my typical workflow looks like. And apart from that, our team also works across different product and software teams. So if there's anything unusual, there's any dip or any spike in the data that I'm looking at, I try to reach out, communicate this with people. And yeah, so it's technical and a lot of communication as well. So um, I play the role of trying to interpret complex data into stories that people can understand, and then take a decision forward. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, great. It's a good work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Kamakshi. So, Keithika here. And talking about the role, how did you transition from SJSU to landing your role at HP? And what were the key stepping stones that you followed?
So I would say, I think the things that helped me the most was
Mm-hmm.
networking, because I spoke to representatives from HP at a fair from SJSU. So that was a big turning point for me. So I would say the biggest things that helped me was networking, confidence, and just just putting yourself out there even when it's hard, and doing that consistently is what turned out really helpful for me. So even it sounds simple, it sounds very cliche, but when you're in that uncertainty, when you're in that phase where you want to prove yourself and you're looking for your first opportunity, I think these things really matter. So, the career fair at SJSU, and I feel in general, any career fairs, you should put yourself out there. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that's how you learn. And I still remember walking in, I was completely nervous, and there were so many students, all from SJSU. And I remember walking in, and I did not even know what I'm going to say. I had nothing planned, because there are so many people, you get overwhelmed because everyone is trying to give their elevator pitch, and I was completely
Mm,
unprepared. But
Right.
then you are still supposed to go up to the recruiters, and even if it feels uncomfortable, just strike up some conversation. It can just start with a basic, how was your day? And it makes all the difference. And of course,
Totally.
doing well in your classes also matters, I would say. And I think we're very lucky with SJSU's curriculum because it is designed in a way that they use all the industry tools and make you use them in the projects. So that's how we gain, that's how I feel I gained industry experience, and just doing the projects and just following the curriculum also really helped. So yeah, this is how I would say really helped shape my career.
Totally. Thank you, Kamakshi.
Right.
Hi Kamakshi, my name is Arya. Thank you for joining us. Now let's dive into the real world ML application and specifically at HP. So we
Mhm.
would like to learn about like what AI ML project are you currently working at HP? Can you walk us through one of the example?
Sure. Hi, Arya. I'm always, I think, looking for ways to integrate AI into my
Mm,
work and into our data flows. And so, one project I really enjoyed and I felt was really appreciated in HP was building a chatbot for HP's project and engineering teams. And this was something I came up with because I saw a gap between how people were perceiving the data and, helping them understand how to make the right questions when they come to the data team, with any request. So the idea was to make data more accessible.
yeah.
Instead of people coming to us every time they needed a report or had a question, they could just ask the chatbot if this is even doable and maybe come up with a smarter question. Sometimes
Yes, yes.
meetings are so useless, they don't even know what's going on. So we try to give, I wanted to give a chatbot that would educate them on how the data looks like and make a smarter question. So, for example, they could just directly ask to the chatbot that, show me the devices with highest error rates last week, or how many users upgraded to the latest version. So, these kind of things, I think, really bridged the gap. Um, the chatbot would interpret the question, it would understand the intent and fetch
Mm,
the relevant insight. And it would do that because it had the schema of the data embedded into the intelligence of the chatbot. So I feel it was a great experience for me. I started off as a side project, and it was really appreciated how AI was uh, utilized in our
mm,
day-to-day work.
yeah, that
And
looks very interesting. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
so, okay, so that chatbot example gives us great context.
Mhm.
But I wanted to know on a typical day for like a project like that, what tools, frameworks, technologies would you use, and we also should be familiar with.
So, I would say understanding. So, basically, when you're creating a chatbot, you should understand that context is everything. Most of the times we create chatbots and it hallucinates a lot. So the building steps of the chatbot that I really struggled with is giving the right context. And I think technologies, it differs from company to company. We have our I mainly use Python, SQL, and Power BI for visualization. And so you could do this with like heavily there are two ways you can go through this. Okay, you can create a complete data pipeline with ingestion and give it context and then create a chatbot, or you could also utilize in-house tools that we have, um, which both I realized would were giving me the similar results. So I
Mm,
think SQL is really, really important, even like the foundational SQL um, uh, coding. That's something we should be good at. I
mm,
would really push for that.
Yeah, thanks for your insights. Like we totally agree. Like you also mentioned how curriculum over here is designed to like use latest industry tools. Like for example, I remember in data warehouse, it was one of our subjects. Prior to ML, we used like Snowflake, Airflow, and Spark and other tools for managing the data and all. So I would like want to ask a follow-up question in this field. Like for any company, data and infrastructure is a like a big part of any company, right?
Mhm.
So if you could share any of the insights about tools that you use for example, for data lakes or warehouses, like how does a typical data flow happens at HP?
So, so HP's data ecosystem is heavily layered and structured. And remember, I was talking about telemetry devices, telemetry data from devices. So
Hmm.
when devices send this data, it flows through a series of pipelines, which is extremely complex, and it's collected, cleaned, and processed. And I come where I look at the data after it's been processed. So my work is sort of at the post processing step, and I majorly look at analysis and trying to be
Hmm.
able to tell a story. For example, this is a very good example that I can give you because we've landed on story. So, uh, one thing that was really crucial for me to sort of get through was, when you have a chart, when you're doing some analysis, some exploration, when there's a chart, and you have x and y axis, and how we usually, I think in masters also I used to do this. If there's a chart, I would just say that, here's the number of customers on the y axis and the months on x axis, but that's not how people would want in real
Yeah,
life. That's not
they would
storytelling,
need
right?
more insights. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is something really I think would have helped if I knew before. So storytelling is when you take the same chart, but you explain it in a way that it really connects with people. You have to really tell a story. So something, for example, you can say over the last 6 months, and always, like, try to talk in a way that, we've seen a steady increase or a steady decrease of 20%, 25%. How is it? Is it relative? What is the retention? All of these things are much more important in real life, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
talking about data and infrastructure, I'd like to ask, like, what does data preparation actually look like in your projects, and how much time is spent on this versus the model building?
That's a very good question because uh, a lot of time goes into data preparation,
Mhm.
and that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Before you build anything, you really need to understand the data, what
Mhm.
each column means, what's missing, what's reliable, and most importantly, what are you trying to solve. I know in school, professors give us a data set and the problem statement,
Mhm.
and they make it so much easier for us, but in the real world, it's usually it's opposite. You have to
Totally, yes.
define the problem first. You have to sit and understand, what am I trying to find out here? So I spend a good amount of time with stakeholders, with leaders, defining that. What are we trying to achieve? What does success look like? I think this is the biggest question. What does success look like? Because a lot of people have different answers to it. And if you do any kind of analysis, and if success is not defined properly, then there's nothing that you can do with the data. So um, and also, do we have the right kind of data for it? And then you can go back to people saying, okay, this is not the kind of data that we need to collect. We have to redefine how we're collecting data. So these are the kind of things that I'll play here. And also storytelling plays a very big role, like I've told before, because you can't tell a good story with data unless you understand it deeply. So I think the core foundational knowledge needs to be built before you actually start executing the job.
Completely agree with you. Thank you. Thank you, Kamakshi.
Hmm. Of course.
Thank you, Kamakshi, for this tech insights and especially for telling us the insight, the difference between the school curriculum and the real life, how the scenario works. So, if we're looking back to the skills and professional development, according to you, what qualifications or experience do you think are the most critical for the breaking into AI ML role or any tech role in the industry?
So for this, I would suggest, so something that really worked for me was having end-to-end projects in my resume, projects that showed that I was able to define the problem. I knew
Mm,
what I was working on and what I wanted to achieve from idea to to concept and all the way to execution. So that the whole package for a project really helped me. And coming to skills, like I said, basics. You need to master the basics of SQL. Everybody like jumps to the complex part of SQL queries, but I think you need to master the basics. So SQL, Python, and data visualization tools like Power BI. HP uses cloud platforms like Azure, and so a good solid understanding of basic ML concepts and how do you calculate retention. I think this is what usually companies are interested in, and again, storytelling is key. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
So building on the skills you just mentioned, how important do you think is strong mathematical knowledge, like, linear algebra, calculus, statistics, in your day-to-day work versus like practical coding skills?
Oh, absolutely. So, like I said, these basic concepts are at most important because that gives you a sense of defining the problem. Statistics plays key role because in a meeting, anyone can come up with any chart in front of you and just ask for your insights on spot, and you need to have like quick calculation of stats of how do you compare to quantities, and uh, uh, causal analytics, I would say. I don't know if SJSU has included causal analytics, but I would say it is worth looking at. And probabilities, and trying to also do prediction modeling is also something that we're very interested in as a team.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, we believe like we have covered most of the part. So like before concluding, we would like to ask one or two questions. Like uh, there is a boom in AI ML, right? So what are like recent developments in like AI and ML that you are like most excited about? Like either you work in this field or not, like how much of this has an impact on your work?
I would say something that's very exciting is every data visualization or analysis tool is coming up with their own chatbot. Or if you've used Databricks, there's something called Genie, which is really
Hmm.
helpful. So this is actually transforming how how people used to work, and it's really helping my work today. I would say AI is extremely helpful. We have to see how we can, following all the company guidelines and rules, how we can leverage AI, and especially things like natural language querying and AI co-pilots. HP uses Microsoft heavily. So co-pilots for analytics are game changers right now. And just imagine you go up to Databricks Genie and you say, "Show me user retention for the past 3 months," and just like that, it does that for you. So here,
Right.
doing the job is not really important. Like doing the job of analysis is not important, but defining what you want and prompt engineering has become the biggest tool nowadays, I would say.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So for the final question of the questionnaire, I would ask if you could give us one piece of advice as an SJSU student, what would it be?
If I could go back, I think I'd tell myself to just go out there. Don't wait until you're ready. Put yourself out there. Start at any point. Attend career fairs, reach out to professionals, ask questions. Even when you feel you're not ready, that's when you're
Hmm.
supposed to put your first step. And practice data storytelling every day, because all of you are in
Yeah,
analytics, and
Yes.
that's what will
yes.
set you apart later. Being able to communicate what insights you draw is what's going to set you apart, because anyone can run a model, anyone can build. I know all of you are very familiar with the tools that are being out in the market nowadays. You can just write something and get it, but
Hmm.
being able to communicate what you've built and what the insights are is what's going to set you apart. So I think
Totally.
that's what makes uh, a data person, I would say, a real decision maker.
Thank you. Thank you, Kamakshi.
That's really a good piece of advice. So I think we have covered all the aspect. Thank you for having us today. Thank you, Kamakshi. This was extremely helpful in understanding how ML is built and shipped at the HP from data pipelines to model choices and on-device trade-off. And specifically, as our SJSU senior, your journey and guidance means a lot to us and make the industry path feel real and attainable. We appreciate your time and insight. Thank you again for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Yes,
Kamakshi.
thank you, Kamakshi.
Bye bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.